Alex Jones is back on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. That didn't stop Piers Morgan from going out on the attack against Alex Jones. He had a YouTuber on, Mark Mernon, also known as Count Dankula. He was the one arrested in the UK because he taught his girlfriend's pug to do a Nazi salute every time he said, "Gas the Jews." Just a prank. They arrested him for that. He did time in prison for that, for posting it to YouTube. Well, they had him on to talk about the free speech. Go ahead and check this interview out here on Piers Morgan, Uncensored.
Yeah, I think he's completely right in doing it. It's
Why?
Elon Musk's company, so if he wants Alex Jones back on the platform, then he absolutely can. And he did put it to a poll to the public, Vox Populi, Vox Day, and people said they wanted him back on the platform, so he's brought them back on the platform.
Well, it's an amateur poll. 2 million of his followers voted. We don't know how many times each one voted, etc., etc. It's not a sophisticated
Each account can only
poll.
vote once.
Yeah, but my point is there a line, though, on free speech at all for you?
For me personally, no.
Nothing.
No. I think that Alex Jones should be able to go on Twitter. If they want him there, then that's fine. They can have him there, and he can.
Do you think what he said about the Sandy Hook massacre was justified then?
Justified? Like, he has the right to say it. Wouldn't say it was justified.
$1.2 billion worth of damages awarded against him for one of the most serious defamations.
Biggest civil suit against an individual in the history of America.
One of the worst defamations, actually, in terms of damages America's ever seen. Damages and defamation is not protected by the First Amendment, and yet you think he was entitled to say it.
I think he had a right to say it.
He has a right to say that a mass shooting that killed 20 young kids was a fake and a hoax, that the parents of the grieving dead were crisis actors. These were statements which he repeatedly made, which led to actual intimidation, harassment, death and rape threats, and people in the street going up to these people and confronting them, these parents. You think all that is fine?
I don't think it's fine. I never said it's
what
fine.
Is
I said he has a right to do it.
Does he have a right to do that?
Yeah, agreeing that someone has a right
do you think he has a right to do that?
Yeah, I think he has a right to do it.
Really?
Agreeing that someone has a right to do something isn't the same as agreeing with what they say.
No, I agree.
I agree.
It's a case of, you actually think he has a right to do what he did, with the consequences we now know happen?
How many times? Yes.
Basically, a bunch of nutters did do a lot of awful stuff after the fact, but that's basically going down the same route of, remember back in the 90s, they wanted to ban video games and Dungeons and Dragons because they thought it caused violence and devil worship. Or you can't, engage with this type of, media, otherwise it's going to cause X, Y, Z, like rap music causes violence, all that other nonsense. If we're saying, this guy's not allowed to say his conspiracy theories or whatever you want to call them because some crazy guy out there might do something mental, then nobody can talk about anything at all.
Well, you can. There are limits to free speech as there are everything else. Even First Amendment, America has a number of limitations to it.
Oh, boy. First off, you can't make this shit up. Reality's stranger than fiction. Piers Morgan, on his TV show, Piers Morgan Uncensored, is calling for Elon Musk to censor Alex Jones on a show called Piers Morgan Uncensored. Now, let me give you a rundown of some people that are on Twitter right now. People that are on Twitter. On Twitter, prior to Alex Jones being brought back, you could find members of the Taliban. Remember the Taliban when they asked people to turn the temperature down? When the Taliban said that the trans community was being a little too extreme after the Nashville shooting.
My favorite Twitter account.
The Taliban.
Yeah.
The Taliban said, "Hey, you guys need to chill. No more hateful rhetoric here. You guys are being too violent, too extreme. You need to chill." You'll find the Taliban. You will find members of the Ku Klux Klan. You will find neo-Nazis. You will find people advocating for the complete extermination of insert racial group, religious group, or sexual orientation here. You will find pedophile rights activists on an app that allows children and markets to children. You find just about anything, but you couldn't find the Sandy Hook guy. I'm not even going to, because I usually disavow when I do these Alex Jones segments and say, "Oh, no, what he said was horrible." I'm not even going to address that anymore. If you're watching my show and you've been following for this long and you need me to do a disclaimer where I say I don't endorse him saying that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax and blah, 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 then you don't know me. Fuck you. Quit listening to my show. That's all I got to say. You don't know me. What have you been doing? You're listening, but are you paying attention? You should know me by now. Obviously, I don't endorse that. Here's my thing with Alex Jones. I followed the trial. The Alex Jones civil trial, pretty closely. Because when you work in media, again, precedents being set. There's a precedent being set there, and it put a lot of people on notice, kind of like the Hulk Hogan Gawker thing did years and years ago, where he single-handedly destroyed that business. And I still tell a joke about him to this day. Screw you. So I watched this, and that trial was a hatchet job. A hatchet job. It was not about, it was very clear, it was not about any type of justice for these parents. It was very clear from the get-go. It was about shutting up anyone who speaks out of line and sending a message to anyone else who's thinking about speaking out of line that you don't do that. And while we can't put you in jail, we'll just ruin you financially. Do you know what happened in the Sandy? You know what happened, Mia? Do you know how that whole thing went down with the Sandy Hook trial? Do you know how that went down? So he was being sued, obviously. He was going to go before a jury, and he was going to plead his case, and they were going to figure out whether or not he defamed these people, and he was guilty of defamation of character and all the other stuff. Well, before he went to trial with the jury, the judge said, "You're guilty. You don't get a trial of your peers. You did this. The only thing the jury's going to decide is how much you have to pay these people. They can't say you're not guilty. They have to give a damage amount, assign a damage amount. It's over. You can't plead your case. All we're going to do is, I mean, he basically got railroaded. You might as well have been a grand jury. All we're going to do is bring people out. They're going to tell their sob stories. The prosecutor, their lawyer will get to make his case, and we'll let you kind of try to pretend to make a case, but the second you try to prove you were innocent or that you didn't actually profit off of this or that you weren't defaming these people, you're done. We have to axe it from the record." So they railroaded this guy from the get-go. He never had a chance. He had a hyper-liberal judge, I believe appointed by either Obama or Clinton. Here's the thing. As messed up as it was, he didn't tell. I remember, because I was one of those kids that watched Alex Jones when the Sandy Hook shit went down. And I remember, and I didn't believe that it was a hoax. I saw that video. I know Mia fell for the video. Mia believed the video. Watch, she's going to get hit with $1 billion lawsuit now. No, Mia believed that video. I remember I saw the video and I kind of was like, oh, that's a little weird. But, you know, a lot of these YouTube videos will try to paint things to be a certain direction. So I was never on board. But I listened to Alex Jones just for news and stuff because I was a dumb kid. I remember listening to Alex Jones daily. He didn't tell anyone to go harass the parents. He never said, go harass these people, go terrorize them, go send them threatening letters. He never said any of this. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're going to be held financially responsible for for the actions of every single member of your audience, then that's the death of political commentary. Because every audience has a crazy person in it. Every audience does. Every show with more than 50 listeners has got a crazy person in it. 97% of our listeners are crazy people. No, I'm kidding. Every show has got whack jobs in it. If you're going to sit here and tell me that I can't say anything, or that anything I say, even if I say, hey, leave these people alone, this is my opinion, I'm not encouraging you to go out and act like this, even if I say that, I'm still somehow financially liable for something that somebody in my audience may or may not do, free speech is dead. There's no free speech. Nobody can say anything. I had this discussion to somebody the other day about offensive humor. I'm like, it's not my responsibility to cater to other people's sensitivities. It's not. Now, if I'm talking directly to someone on a one-on-one level or a small group setting, and I know something might be a sensitive spot for them because of an experience they had, I won't bring it up. But I'm not about to go on stage. I'm not about to police the things I say on stage or on this show or on social media or anywhere else in terms of just general statements because somebody somewhere might be offended by it, because if we were going to do that, nobody can say anything. So that's the thing, is conspiracy theories, believe it or not, are protected speech. Yes, there are exceptions to free speech in this country. You can't threaten people. You can't conspire to murder people. You can't have child, no matter how bad the Democrats want to legalize it. You can't do those things, right? But here's the thing. Even if you do any of those things, we don't take away your right to true legal free speech afterwards. That's what this case was about. This case, they even said it. The judge said it, and the family's lawyer said it. They said that defamation's another one. Sorry, you can't defame people. They said that this wasn't about punishing Alex Jones for saying what he said. The judgment they were handing out, the financial judgment they were giving Alex Jones, was to make sure that he couldn't ever have a platform again. And that, by definition, when you have a government official, I don't care who it is, I don't care if it's Alex Jones, I don't care if it's a full-blown communist, when you have a government official dealing out defamation judgments and financial liens, not based on the content of what was said in the defamation suit, but based on making sure this person can never have a platform again, that is a direct violation of the First Amendment. So yes, you do have exceptions to free speech. You do. But that doesn't mean you lose your right to free speech going forward after that, which is what they tried to do to Alex Jones. You don't have to agree with him, right? But like I said, conspiracy theories are protected speech. And the reason they are is because, like we've seen time and time again, especially recently, throughout history, though, today's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's cold hard fact. I mean, you would have been called a dangerous conspiracy theorist a couple hundred years ago if you said the world was round. Now it's an accepted fact. Hunter Biden laptop story, dangerous conspiracy theory. Lab leak theory, dangerous conspiracy theory. Evil cabal of people running the country, dangerous conspiracy theory that the Obamas produce movies that talk about, and they consult them to make them look seem more realistic. You don't have to agree with Alex Jones. You don't. You don't have to agree with him, but you do have to support his right to have a platform. Not his right to defame people, not his right to harass people, but his right to have a platform regardless of what he may or may not be guilty of in an incredibly biased hatchet job trial. And if you don't support his right to have a platform, then you're not a serious person and we're done talking. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.